Welcome to
Andy
the
Climate.
Debrief Show.
That was perfect.
This
That
idea
was perfect.
has tanked.
We're never doing
No,
it
no, no.
again.
This was perfect. Welcome.
We can edit this
To the
together.
Debrief.
Welcome.
We'll edit it
Welcome
together.
to Earth.
Welcome to the Debrief Show. Today we are talking about Baku, of course. I'm Tommy Woodbury. To my left, in the Ferrari hat, Mr. Samuel Evans. It's the shit.
It was a bit better.
Slightly better. I got beer on me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Good
In
job.
front of Sam, in a rebel hat, Mr. Jacob Evans.
Woo!
That's done. So much confidence.
And I got to be honest, us opening beers is not a cool
Nice.
thing.
Nice to beer here.
Ah.
That's the beer.
Cancel.
Disgusting.
Where's the stop button?
All right, restart.
Right.
And opposite
I like
me,
that.
in
Outtake.
the
Try
Yeah.
in the Red Bull. I
It's
mean,
meant to be- I didn't bring any merch.
I mean
It's
McLaren hat.
It's supposed to be McLaren.
Mr. Jonathan
scripted.
Face.
McLaren gives you wings.
Right, here you go.
Look at
That
that.
is how
Wow.
you do it.
And so we have one alcoholic amongst the group.
Alcoholic.
All right. Well, I'm glad
The
that went
greatest
really well.
alcoholic in the world.
That was worth how long that took. Okay, let's get straight into this anyway. So obviously we're talking about Baku, and what an exciting race that was. Wow, I've just woken up from my nap.
No, I'm still
Yeah,
shaking from excitement.
literally,
I'm
yeah.
still shaking.
So,
So, let's go into describing that race in 3 words. Sam?
just describing it in 3 words. Wow. Boring.
Good.
Old.
Boring.
That's brave. Yeah.
Tires.
Boring tyres.
They're my 3 words
Alright.
of choice.
We'll get to
All right.
that. Jake?
Boring, dull, tedious.
Nice. John?
There's a theme.
There is a theme here.
Checo Perez, legend.
I think I've something
Yeah,
slightly
fair enough.
different
Yeah.
from mine. Really cool anthem.
Ooh,
Ah,
yeah.
That was the
Alright,
best
alright,
part of the
yeah.
whole
Alright.
fucking
To be
thing.
fair, the
Alright.
most exciting part of the whole race
Now
was
this
the
is
national
why
like a West End.
people are going to tune in.
Yeah.
All right.
For
We're
the
thinking,
anthem.
we're thinking
Yeah.
music.
Anthem.
We're talking
We're talking
What
back.
are we
Colours.
talking?
We're talking
Yeah.
Azerbaijan.
It was so
We're
good. We only
talking-
remember the colours. Yeah.
Flags and people.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
love Azerbaijan.
overall. I
Correct.
think we will agree it was really, really boring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
mean,
look,
it's-
the first 17
Yeah,
laps
yeah.
were great. The
Yeah, it
first
had a lot of
17
promise.
laps felt like a great race. Felt like it had the makings
Felt
of
like
a great
something was
race.
gonna
Things
happen,
were
right?
happening. There was movement, and then after that, as usual with every race this season, they put hard tires on.
Race
And nothing
over.
changes because
Yeah.
the hard tires can last for what,
Well,
1,000
the-
laps?
Yeah.
they
Well,
don't
also, I think the thing is like the dirty air the cars are caught in, right? So they're catching them on the when they're in the DRS zones, right? The cars are catching, right? Not enough to overtake because you know they get to about a second or just less than a second because their DRS comes in,
Bang, yeah.
and then they do that whole lap pretty much without DRS. And they're stuck in the dirty air. They lose time, and then they do the same thing. It's a massive DRS
Yeah.
train. It's
Yeah.
the way it
Yeah,
happens.
the whole
you know.
thing.
Um,
And the funny thing is the new regs are supposed to bring everyone close together and get everyone fighting more. But it seems what they're doing now is they're just stagnating the race because everyone's a little bit more sort of equal on pace. 'Cause they
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
got to
Yeah.
yeah.
worry
Well,
about.
Chandik said it as well though that this year the aerodynamics of the cars are better from each one, but they're more draggy. So they've got more bits to them, which is then causing in turn more flow behind them, which is causing basically the same issues they had in the previous regs.
Yeah.
So people are still getting overheating tires now. So you follow for too long, you overheat your tires, and then you have to pull back or wait. And so you've got the same thing where people catch up and they fall back, and
Yeah.
they catch up, they fall
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Even at Baku with the longest straight on the
I think
on the
it's
whole
a longer.
It
the whole
is.
Canada, so
Yeah.
the longest straight.
Well, Jeddah might have a.
I think
No,
I think for the straight, I think
Baku-
Baku's
Either
the
way.
longest straight.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
and
is.
and the overtaking was like non-existent. I mean, look, if you have people who start from the pits, Ocon Hulkenberg on hard tires, manage to make it to lap 50 in 10th position with almost no overtakes done to them, you have a problem.
Yeah.
That should be your
Yeah.
signal that there's not enough diversity in the track to be able to allow people to overtake. The tires are way too long lasting. If you can do 50 laps
Oh, yeah.
around
Yeah.
Baku, which is 70% throttle the whole time, with not needing new tyres. I
Well,
mean,
if you
that's-
looked at the tyres after the race, and that was the thing we were saying as well.
Yeah,
It was
no,
like
they
the
were
tyres.
clean.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, remember the tyres
brand
used to
new.
be
Yeah,
smashed.
shredded.
Used to
It
be
used to be
shredded.
absolutely shredded.
Yeah, and if you look at the tyres now, they are literally.
And there were no drivers moaning about their tyres.
No,
Not
No.
one.
Lewis did once, I think, but
Yeah, but
That's
Lewis,
Lewis,
that's just
yeah.
We know
alright,
they're
Lewis,
good, yeah.
You'd give him a
Yeah,
brand
he's
new
just
set of
worn
softs
in.
and he'd be
Yeah.
like, bro, these
That's
are a
just
bit
the
slippery.
deg on the tyres. It's not like the tyres are like, we were worried that the tyres are literally going to go any second. And that was a part of the race. And sure, they were dangerous, okay? Like, sure enough, 2 years ago, Verstappen crashed out because, the tyres were bad. And that, they
There
just
was a
blew
few
up.
that race. There was a few
Yeah,
people
there
that
was
race.
a
Yeah.
few. And that was like, hold on, Pirelli, what are we doing? So there is a very fine line, isn't it, between safe and what's entertaining.
Like 17 inches of
Yeah,
rubber.
two
So
Yeah,
you can just run
exactly,
for
right?
8 hours and
Yeah.
go, now we're at the edge where it's
Yeah.
starting to fall off.
Yeah,
Like,
there needs to be a fine line between.
And I think
what's,
because of that, then like you look at Australia now, they've got 3 DRS zones. So is there now the thing where they're trying to force the excitement as opposed to just let the excitement happen
here's- Yeah.
naturally?
here's what I thought during the race and what I've been thinking recently. So, no secret, Formula One has become overnight popular thanks to Drive to Survive and all the other things. They've broken into the American market in a big way that they weren't able to do before, which is what they wanted to do because obviously that's where a lot of the
Extra
money
money,
is.
yeah.
So they've broken into the American market, and what they've got now as a problem is that they're trying to almost construct the entertainment out of it. So they're trying to figure out what do people want to see. They want to
They're
see
making it
crashes,
more of a
overtakes.
show
and all this- So
rather than
they're
a-
trying to almost force themselves in rules to create these things,
Create
that are going
drama.
like sprint
Yeah.
races and all the rest of it, instead of just naturally letting the excitement of a race unfold.
It's not for the fans,
And I think-
it's for those who just want to watch a bit of drama.
Yeah, but I think it's even more so. I think they'll lose the base fans that like the sport originally.
What it is. Yeah.
But they'll also lose the ones that were in it for 5 minutes because there was a few crashes that were exciting because nothing's happening now. They've
this
put
is the whole,
so
like,
much into it to make
that
it
that
exciting.
also leans onto the sprint race as well as that whole concept.
The whole
is
concept,
make
yeah.
it to make it more exciting for those.
Extra race.
we'll
yeah.
get to the sprint race in a minute. Should we go to driver of the day?
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
Checo.
Oh, it's
Checo.
Checo.
I think
Yeah,
we're
it's
all-
Perez.
I mean,
Agreed,
he won the
Perez.
race last year. He's won it again this year. He's just the king of street circuits.
He-
I
yeah.
mean, he's just fair play. He's held. Fair enough. The safety car came into
However,
play.
he was
was
pulling up to
he was-
Verstappen. at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah, I think he
Yeah.
would have. He would have had
he
it.
was 3 seconds in front of Verstappen.
Yep.
Like still,
No
it's
mean
not. It's
feat.
not like
That's
he
not
got
a mean
caught.
feat in a
He's-
Verstappen car.
Yeah, and it's not like he got caught in the dirty air. All right, okay. He's like the only Red Bull driver they've had in the past. Well, how many years?
10 years,
5.
I think.
Well,
Yeah, got-
maybe even
got
10
that,
years.
yeah.
Christ,
Yeah.
the second driver which has been able to match their main man, whether it be Verstappen or Sebastian Vettel, if you're going back
Yeah.
10 years ago, he's been the only one. All
It's
right, maybe
anywhere
Mark
near.
Webber. I mean, but yeah, he is, on merit and like fair enough, 3 seconds ahead, and he's won the race. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Credit to him.
Yeah, and I-
you know,
and I-
That's not
and
given.
I-
That's, and I think
Yeah.
Verstappen knew that at the end as well. It's like,
yeah.
sure, safety car issues happen, but if you're faster in the race car, then
You're
you're
faster.
going to
Yeah.
overtake
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
right?
And he
But
was
pulled
probably
off.
always going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he pulled
drove
away.
it blind,
And
yeah.
you watched it when it was Verstappen 1, Perez 2. Perez did pull back to get within DRS range. He then pulled it into half a second. He was chipping away at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd have taken over him, I
Yeah,
reckon.
well, given enough time, he'd have
Yeah,
been
by the
done.
time that safety car, he was within DRS.
It was
on that
half a
main
second
straight,
away.
Yeah.
Half a
Yeah,
second
he
away.
was.
So
So he would have had.
he's there. He pulled back in. That's enough.
And
for
I
yourself.
bitched about Perez the last couple of podcasts, so I don't take it back just yet.
Wearing his Aztec Red Bull hat for,
Oh.
from Mexico.
Yeah.
My Mexico hat, but credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It means a lot to
Is
him.
any other
He's probably
standout
tearing
drivers?
up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other standout drivers from that race?
I think Leclerc did a great job.
I think
Leclerc did
Yeah,
as
Leclerc,
much
yeah.
as he could do.
He did
given
exactly what he needed
his-
to do,
Given,
The
well,
package
given
he was
on
given, he
their-
maximised
Yeah.
his points.
that's their
Maximise
first
points, yeah.
podium in it of the season.
First podium,
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
He made more points in the sprint race than he's made all season because he's had such shit with the car and
Yeah.
everything else. He made more points on sprint alone. He's got his first podium of the season, which is great. The car finally is looking a little bit more
Really
alive.
where it
I hope
was
it's not track
last year,
specific.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's track specific, and next race it's back to where it was. So we'll see. Let's get some
But
consistency
the
before
next
we think
race
too
is a
much.
fast one as well. So
Yeah, it was Miami. It's another street circuit, so it
another
should
long
be
straight on it.
Yeah, it should be in the same place. But hopefully they've taken that step forward. Monza will be
I-
another one with a package.
I also think Alonso had a great race.
Alonso
Correct.
did a
Fourth.
great race.
Again,
And
a
the
great
teamsmanship-
overtake.
The teamsmanship
Um,
between Alonso and Stroll throughout
Yeah,
that,
that was
Yes.
talking to
Oh
each
my
other,
God, yeah,
to the
sponsorship,
engineers to help
yeah,
each
that was
other
brilliant.
out. Was
Yeah.
I
awesome.
think the most
Yeah,
the
great
most
to see.
synergy in a team at
Great
the
to
minute
see.
seems to be them two.
Yeah,
They
it
really
seems to
feel
be.
like they've got a good
Yeah.
rhythm of.
I mean, the Mercedes, well, the thing I like about Mercedes as well as a team, they've always let the drivers race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant. It's what we want to see.
Yeah.
We don't want to sit there thinking like, I want to see
Team
a Red Bull.
orders.
I want to see Checo versus Verstappen. I don't want to see Team Verstappen. I want
Yeah.
to see Checo fighting for a championship.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
it's nice, but it is nice to see that they're working together. But, in the future, if Aston Martin do get to those podium places, are they going to be in the same synergy?
Yeah,
I doubt
mean,
it.
Maybe they're in a bit
you
of
know.
like a honeymoon phase where they're just enjoying the fact that they're up
Yes.
there.
Yes,
But when it becomes serious and they're like, actually, we are proper title contenders
Yeah.
consistently, we've got to knuckle down and get serious here.
I don't think they have to. I don't think any team has to. I think if you've got the respect within the drivers to properly give each other space, I think like look at Mercedes. They're aware.
Yeah,
they
but
crash
there's
into each other. It's a
there's-
huge storm.
Oh, oh, yeah,
they
but
all are
it's-
at the
there
top.
is
They're
no
aware.
way-
Sainz lost the position
There is
today
no,
because of that.
there is no way though in any world that like they're gonna, if those two drivers are battling for a championship, if it's Alonso and Stroll in the future, there
Yeah,
is
it
no
seems like
way
Rosberg
they're
and
gonna have
Hamilton.
team
Yeah.
orders or anything. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Yeah, but I think you're right because they are enjoying what they.
What they've
Have
got
right now.
because they've come from so low to now.
Yeah,
You know,
Now
yeah.
they're
Yeah,
working. They're
podiums.
working together. They're fighting for podiums.
They'll
and
probably
they're
get a
gonna work
win this
together,
year if
yeah.
things plays right.
Yeah, lucky race with
Yeah.
something goes wrong with someone. Yeah.
I thought Hamilton did have a good race.
Hamilton
this
did have a
race.
good race.
Um,
Nothing went wrong.
Well, he actually got
Good
swallowed by
overtakes.
The safety car. He was 10th at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the safety car he pitted
Yeah.
a couple of laps before it happened.
yeah.
And he managed to pull back up.
He's a
to
good
fifth,
race.
so,
I mean,
I mean,
he's still
fifth, yeah.
in the standings. He's still. I think it's
Ahead of Russell's.
he's ahead of us. He's ahead of
Yeah.
the Ferraris,
Yeah, he's third or
Um,
fourth. Yeah.
isn't he? Yeah.
It's
So
good.
it's like
He's
Verstappen,
good. He's doing well.
Checo.
He's doing well.
Alonso, Hamilton.
It's weird. It's
Hamilton,
weird.
yeah,
If
yeah.
we'd filmed this
Fine.
podcast 2 years ago, no one would have been sitting there going, "Oh, Hamilton did well." You'd be
Come
thinking,
fifth.
you'd
Yeah,
just
yeah,
be like,
fifth.
"Yeah, Hamilton did the same as he always
Yeah,
does,
he always
first
does.
place and move on to the next." So, it shows he's still got the
He's still got the
speed, the
ability,
hunger.
yeah.
He
Oh,
can
yeah.
It's
do
great
it.
to see. It's like Alonso, He's
Yeah,
still
he's
got
ready
it,
to go.
man.
Just give him
He's
the right
still
car.
got it.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's giving the retire rumors. No way, man. Hamilton's in it for the long run.
No, I think a
Yeah.
couple more years at least.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go on to the team recaps then. Should we start with Ferrari?
Ferrari.
Yeah,
Man.
that's you.
Sorry, forgot about that.
Focus up.
Forgot about that.
Solid race for Ferrari.
Let's
focus
As
on
far
the
as
pit
I
crew.
mean,
No, to be
nothing
honest,
broke.
Ferrari very happy.
Strategy was good.
The strategy was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
The car worked. We didn't really have any issues. Drivers both did well. For the first time all season, actually. I mean, only a few races in, but all season we've actually looked like we've actually got the car we should have had
Yep.
at the start, and maybe then been working
Yeah, the
back
car
from
they
here.
were
So
expecting.
we're coming back. It makes me feel positive, but I'm a bit nervous to say that I'm fully thinking that this is the way forward. I
It might
think
be
that
too soon.
it
to
could be
say.
that this track really works for us and the next one doesn't. So I want to see a little bit more.
Consistency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the next couple of races that we are permanently in third, and we're trying to kind of keep up with the Red Bulls. That would give me some confidence, but you can't be disappointed. Really pleased.
Yep.
Leclerc handled
Yeah.
everything perfectly, and as Chandler said, quickest man in a 1 lap fight.
Yeah, I
at the
think
minute.
Leclerc
Yeah.
done as much as he can, really. He wasn't ever going to get 1 and 2 unless something went wrong for
You
Red
look at
Bull.
that DRS. I mean, they just walked past every
Well,
time.
I
it went
mean,
on the straight,
when
it was-
Verstappen done him, he got ahead, got
Yeah,
in position.
Yeah, he was,
and then
DRS,
that's still a
and
time.
it was all
Like,
done.
it's
So
crazy.
Even before DRS came on, when they were going down that straight, you were like,
He's
Just
catching
straight
him.
alone,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
catching him.
speed
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Well, it's like it's the big thing, like you said, as I was saying earlier, is like the DEG. It's just like they've got the race pace.
But the
Red
DEG
Bull.
kills
the
them
DEG
every time.
kills everyone else.
Yeah.
Red Bull have just got it figured out where the car is
Always
meant
on.
to race. Okay,
Yeah.
it
And
may not get pole every time, but it doesn't need to.
Yeah, but even then,
It
even
doesn't
then, even
need
then,
to.
it's like right next.
Yeah,
to
they're
getting
not
pole,
worried.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not even
yeah.
like it's not even like it's a really slow car in quali. It's
Yeah,
quick
They're up
car.
there.
yeah.
It's just there might be that someone pips them to the post slightly, but
yeah.
Does it
does-
matter?
doesn't
They're
matter
gonna
because I'm going to be able to keep up
Yeah.
this quali pace for 50 laps, and you're going to have to drop off at some point, and I'll be
Yeah.
just bruising past you. So I think yeah. But from Red Bull side,
Does that breed a little?
Ferrari side,
Does that
Oh.
breed a little bit
Yeah.
of complacency
Very
for
happy.
Red Bull though? Because at the moment they're
I don't know. I think they've been at the back for long enough. They've been at the front for long. They had a 4-year stint with Vettel. They know what it's like to be at the top.
Yeah.
They then had the stint behind Mercedes. They
Yeah.
know what it feels like to be behind. I think they're mature enough at this point, especially with the fact that the management have been through both phases, to know, don't rest on your laurels.
Yeah.
This
keep
it's not
working it.
given.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
We've got a great car, but these guys are all pushing to catch up. I think, you know what, if you're Ferrari and Red Bull and all the rest of it, it makes you hungrier, right?
Yep.
You're sitting there thinking, right, I need to push further. We need to push faster than you're pushing with everyone else. So I think they should be good enough there. Not
then-
first time championship.
Red Bull, I think it's the same conversation we have every time, probably.
Basically, just stop talking.
The dominant car.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
I still McLaren
Max-
points.
Max
Max,
getting,
I'm going to say
like-
Max.
so,
This,
you know-
this has not been Max's weekend.
No, and he's kicked off during a sprint race, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah. We are going to get to that.
Wet
We're
wipe.
going to get to
Stay
that.
tuned, yeah?
Wet wipe.
Yeah, but
Big
but
lip,
I'm gonna
wet wipe.
say his starts again weren't good.
Wasn't
he was
on it,
pipped
no.
by whoever was ahead of him at the start. But then maybe he just doesn't want to take the risk. He knows he's going to get him anyway in a few laps once DRS kicks in,
true.
and it's exactly what happened. So maybe again, I think we said it. Younger Max would have just charged his way through, like a molecule of a gap. Whereas now he's like, fuck it, I'll
He
just
knows. He knows what he got. Yeah,
get you on the next straight. Who cares?
not gonna not catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which again kind of ruins a bit of the spectacle because
Not throwing himself in there.
it doesn't really have to worry about any strategy. Just sit behind him,
Yeah,
chill
no-
out. They're going to push
Yeah,
like
I think
crazy.
the first two positions really, like today actually, it was quite exciting to think that we'd see a Perez
Verstappen fight.
Perez Verstappen fight,
Yeah,
which
no,
we
he
didn't
didn't.
really get given. But it was exciting to see them two actually finally, kind of pushing each other around and being
Yeah,
close
yeah,
with
yeah.
one another, which was a nice thing to see. Outside of that, though, there's like it literally is a battle for third. It's who's going to get third place because like you watch 16
But then what I was
seconds
saying,
pulled
like
on
now you've got
Leclerc.
sort of 4 teams that are kind of in the mix now.
They're not really.
Guys-
They're only in for third though. Not
Yeah,
for
but
second
it
and
was all the way
first.
to 8th now before you've got to teams
Yeah.
that are drastically different.
Yeah, I
You've
would
got
agree
8
with that.
cars there that are
Yeah, it's not as
I've all
shocking
got-
seeing Haas at like
It's all got
It's not like-
potential, and
yeah.
especially when upgrades come into play. We could see a lot happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
because Aston made McLaren made a bit of a leap on their upgrades.
I think there's 2 tenths.
Yeah.
2 tenths.
and they got
better.
another one which they reckon will be the same later in the year.
Yeah.
What's your recap, Johnny?
well, I
McLaren,
think
yeah.
a
jumped
genuine
on
improvement
that
from
one.
the start of the year. So, I think Piastri's making.
And he was ill.
He's yeah, exactly. He's making good ground, and I think already it's. Oh, I don't want to say it, but I think he might already be proving himself against Daniel Ricciardo, maybe.
Oh, he's
in that McLaren.
tenfold better than Ricciardo. Like,
yeah,
he's actually,
I mean,
I would say Piastri's
in
keeping
terms of
pace
what
with
he's
Norris. He's keeping pace with
yeah,
Norris.
exactly.
He's right
So,
there.
whereas
He's not
Ricciardo,
quite ahead, but he's right
exactly.
there with him.
Ricciardo, because I've got a lot of love for Ricciardo, and I think he's a great driver on merit. But like, there's something with him and that McLaren car didn't work.
That's the problem with Ricardo.
Um,
People just like Ricardo.
Yeah,
that's
it's not
the-
about
But you
his
can't,
Nice,
you
but
can't
you
not
can't
like.
just
But
like
well, he's a Grand Prix. He's won like 4 or 5 Grand Prix though. Or no more
He's
than that.
also
It's like
raced
10,
for like he's
it's
raced for
like
like the
10
biggest teams though.
It's
So
like 10. It's like 10 Grand Prix. It's
Yeah.
quite a lot, isn't it?
no,
He's
it's
won.
not 10. It's not 10.
Well, it's like he's won Monaco a couple
He's won a
times,
few.
right? And
He's won a few. I think he's
Yeah.
won like 7.
yeah, and he won that with McLaren in Imola last year or the year before, wasn't it?
Everything
the year
kind
before.
of fell in. It wasn't like he was charging against the guys at the front for that.
I
No,
don't think I've
no,
ever
yeah,
seen him like
win.
overtake a load of really great people to do it. It's always been like
Yeah.
someone's crashed
Someone's
out, which
fallen
caused
into
something.
place.
His
Well,
strategy's
in
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Monaco,
capitalised
he won it on merit with Red Bull. Yeah, I thought he's a great driver. Anyway,
talk about Monaco,
Ricardo's
though.
story. Anyway,
Let's talk about
but,
this race.
He's not even racing anymore.
yeah. And the point is, Piastri is doing well, keeping up the pace of Norris. McLaren improving and going forward. It's just sad that they go every year and they take a leap back at the start and then they come back
Yeah.
at the end. It's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
it's the way
Norris
it is.
struggled at the start. Well, like during like pretty much the whole race. Who was he behind?
Hulkenberg.
Was it Hulkenberg the
Hulkenberg,
whole
yeah.
time?
And then
Hulkenberg and
Hulkenberg
Ocon.
had been on the same tyre
Yeah.
for
On
the
the start,
entire race.
yeah.
And then he
It was the
eventually
last like,
got
4
past.
laps.
Yeah.
And
Last
that's
4
when we had
laps,
that
he finally
instant
took
at the
him.
end.
So then Norris got into. He actually got points. He got 9th. Yeah,
Yes.
He got 9th.
Yeah.
And then
He was
Piastri
kind of always
11th.
going to get given that because they had to pit. So they were banking on a safety car,
Yeah.
red flag,
He didn't race
Yeah.
his way to
change the
eighth.
tyres. But
He-
Which is fair enough. You can do.
yeah,
but
you
like-
can. No, it's
yeah.
not to just. But it also shows you the issue with the current system, right? That on fresh tyres, running a normal strategy, or maybe the
should have
issue
an
with McLaren,
advantage.
that you can't get past a guy who's been on the same
Yeah,
tyres the
yeah.
whole race
Yeah.
because you're stuck in a DRS train where you just don't have enough to get round him. I mean, I don't know.
What's the
It's
solution
like, it's like
here?
I don't know. It's like every car looks the same. They all seem to perform the same. Like everything is just being so heavily regulated now that the innovation there isn't as massive unless you are a Red Bull have really got something figured. Those that deviate from it,
In a
obviously
plane.
Ferrari have in a plane. Ferrari have deviated quite a bit for their way they look, and same with Mercedes. The top teams are trying things differently. They have obviously better engines because they're manufacturing their own, but the tyres are the first bit to go for me. The tyres need to change.
Yeah.
That has to change. Before you used to. I
Although,
think
what does it look like if you get rid of DRS?
it's a
Boring.
very boring race.
So boring.
Even less happens. At least with DRS, someone can overtake someone who doesn't have it. Look,
Do
the
you get
problem,
overtakes now in riskier places
no,
because
the problem is tyres. The tyres are so hard now, and we were going to get onto this later, but we're going to just jump to it now. I think the tyres are so hard now.
Fuck your schedule, Tommy.
Yeah,
All right?
sorry, Tommy. Sorry, Tom. But the tyres are so hard now. Before, you used to have the fun in a race where you would have a guy on he'd pit for mediums. The other team would wait a little bit later and pit for softs. And as the mediums dropped off, the softs would come into their own, and it would be a race of like, I've got to close a 20-second gap and overtake him, and I've got just enough time to do it.
Yeah,
And
like
you'd have
Hamilton
that.
in Hungary.
Yeah, and you'd have that.
yeah.
You'd have that battle coming through because the tyres actually made a difference. When they dropped off, you lost a lot of time. When you had new tyres, it really made a difference. Now, do you ever hear anyone being like, "Oh, these new tyres are really working"?
Well, what
It
if
very rarely
you were to
happens.
get rid of the hard altogether?
That'd be more interesting.
That would be more interesting.
Yeah.
You just had the.
I think they need to re-engineer it.
soft and mediums.
Yeah, I think they
And
need
then
to
also-
they need to engineer the tyres back to the way they were, where they were a little bit more on the edge, and you might get 20 laps out of a set of mediums, but they were absolutely shot at the end of it, and you were running way slower. And if you were on hards, maybe you would get 30, but it would be pushing it. Whereas
Yeah,
now,
that's
like
what-
today, we saw
Ocon.
them do 50 laps
Ocon done
yeah,
on a
50
hard
laps.
tyre.
It's
Also,
crazy.
Did anything happen with him? Because he went on the 51st
They're
lap.
still investigating it now.
Are they still looking?
They're
Yeah.
still
looking
investigating.
through.
We haven't heard anything. The time it
Pitgate.
may have
I mean, I don't
changed
know-
by the time this releases.
Yeah.
There may have been something. Well, I don't.
We'll try. Well,
I don't-
if something has
it's-
changed
I-
when we release it, we'll leave like a
My,
link.
well,
to
yeah,
But
yeah.
how about
But
this?
my
Predictions?
all right. My opinion
Yeah.
is
What's
is
gonna
of that. Ocon has done nothing wrong actually.
Yeah, it can't be their
Correct.
fault.
Yeah,
the
it can't be their
FIA's
fault.
He's still
FIA's
racing.
fault.
It's still the
Well,
race.
there should be the paddock should know better. Basically, the paddock should know better in that case, and
the
then
organisers.
there should be someone in the paddock to be like, look, there's a car going to be coming in, obviously, so that's my opinion. Alpine did nothing wrong in my eyes.
I agree.
So.
Yeah.
There's no penalty due. The only penalty should be to race control. The ones
Yes.
policing the people.
Yeah, right.
They
Yeah.
know there's another lap to
On the
go,
pit wall.
Well,
Yes.
and they know that in their own rules,
They're
He
not
has
allowed,
to
he has
pit.
to pit.
So
So
they're not allowed on the pit wall. So something's going to happen with them anyway because they're all hanging on the.
Well,
Offence.
yeah.
I don't agree with that
Well,
rule,
I
but-
d-
I don't agree with that.
agree
Yeah,
with
but
that.
it's the
Stupid
rule,
rule.
innit? It is the rule.
No,
And they
yeah,
still done it, and they were
is.
still running or walking across the thing.
we really can't
Gasly
be doing any
nearly,
more fines, to be honest. So
Gasly nearly.
Apparently
just,
you can.
just tell us off. Or
But
something.
it wasn't
nearly
even-
runs over like 7 people.
It wasn't even like no, it was Ocon who nearly ran.
Ocon,
But anyway,
so,
like it wasn't even the people. It wasn't even like the teams going to the fence. It was like the Parc Fermé, like all getting ready to have the cars go in. That was who they nearly ran over. It was like the marshals,
A lot of them
like
were
the stewards.
journalists, though. A lot of
Yeah,
them were
yeah, yeah.
journalists.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause they were literally in the road.
Yeah, a lot of them
Yeah.
were journalists with cameras, though.
yeah,
right, to
yeah,
take
yeah.
pictures.
And that was like there was a part. You saw them laying the cones out,
Yeah.
all ready for Parc Fermé, right? So it wasn't like the people going to the fence. They were already on the fence, ready for that to
Oh,
support
right,
the team. So it was
yeah.
like the Parc Fermé, like getting ready, or So something has to be regulated in that sense to say, do not sort this out until the lap has been
Until it's complete.
Yeah,
by
till
the
the race has been finished. or
Unless
something
they
like
thought,
that,
because by that point he's quite far back. So Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc, they're on their
No, it's
slow down lap
they're-
now.
they're
at
no,
that
a lot
point?
of them were journalists. So you look at the footage. A lot of them have big cameras. The one they wanted to do is
Yeah.
get to the race finish line so they can take pictures of them as they're all finishing, right?
Yeah.
If you're the photographer for Alpine, you want a picture of the Alpine as it crosses the line.
But they
Yeah.
weren't
You want
by
all
that
those
though.
things.
They
So
were
you
just
saw that
at
there.
the
You
end.
saw how it was like they were getting it ready for Park from there. That was like,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got the stewards
Yeah.
and you got the journalists all
Yeah.
all running across trying to get the pictures and trying to get everything ready. So
Tell you
yeah,
what,
but I don't think it's not an individual team's problem. It's a Formula One problem.
but
The
they go
FIA
for-
need
Yeah.
to manage that. That's not you can't penalise a team for waiting
Yeah.
to the last.
And when
lap
you
to
go on the
pit, that's
Formula
allowed.
One
Yeah.
website, there's no mention of it. So
I
Yeah.
bet Drive Survive can have some good footage though. So I'll need to get one over.
yeah.
Whoa.
Anyway.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Hold on, Tommy. We didn't hear about your thoughts on
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Oh, Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. Lewis had a really good race. I think Russell. I don't really remember what happened to Russell, to be honest.
he just dropped.
He-
I
off.
think
he
Russell
had a
made
bad
a
start.
bad
on
restart,
It
and then
started
he
11th,
kind of just,
right?
and then it felt like he was a bit shaken from then on, and it just didn't quite get
Mm.
it. I mean, he got
Finished
blitzed
8th.
past Hamilton very quickly, and Hamilton pulled a 1.3
Yeah,
second gap
really
within
good.
about a lap, pretty
Yeah.
much. It was
It's
very
not one
impressive.
to remember.
And
He
then-
did make quite a smart move on the pit lane.
Yeah, yeah.
which,
So
yeah.
it
I'm a
was
little
But
bit
he's saying he got
unsure about it.
overtaken. He's saying he got overtaken.
rules.
He's he bent the rules
Yeah,
to his
Yes, he
favour.
was, yeah.
But it's a shame he got overtaken by Stroll on like when the safety car restarted or
Yeah.
whatever. You know.
And also,
Or
like,
whatever it was.
right at the end, he was obviously in his own little world. So he went for a free pit and got the fastest lap, get some extra points there. I mean, he just did what he had to do to get points.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean,
pretty forgetful race.
it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Look, the race
Not,
as a
well,
whole.
not for Hamilton. Hamilton, that's a good performance for Hamilton, but
It's
just
solid,
Russell's
yeah.
point of view, just
I mean, the
It's
whole
the race
race.
as a whole for
just-
everyone.
just a race.
It's a boring
Yeah,
race.
It
Look,
was boring.
the title of this should be boring Azerbaijan.
We only watched it a few hours
Grand
ago.
Prix.
And
It's
I'm
a shame
surprised
'cause
we haven't already forgotten.
But
what
it's
happened
a
in
shame
that
because
race.
Baku is
Really
Something
usually
great, yeah.
usually a
sports,
good
so, yeah.
race.
What was better than that race was the sprint race. That was a bit better.
Well,
Was it?
Only because of
Uh,
the Russell and
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was the
because of
first-
controversy,
No,
yeah.
because it was the first 17 laps where no one pits for hards and just the race falls
Yeah.
into
yeah,
nothingness
And
again.
there was a
so
safety car of Yuki and
What do we think of
Was
that?
it-
Of the new
format,
format?
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Makes no
Dog shit.
sense.
it's really
It's
dumb, right?
just the worst.
'Cause
But
Because
the
their
whole
whole-
point of the sprint race in the first place was to shake up the starting grid for
Correct,
the race on
yeah.
Sunday.
Instead,
so then
they
now
took
the
that out.
race, now they've taken that out. Now the race
Just a
is
short
essentially
race.
pointless.
Yeah, and
It's a
drivers,
short
and the
race with
reason
some
because
small
they want
points.
to change it because people were moaning that it doesn't give the teams incentive to want to push in that race because they don't want to
Yeah,
damage the car or anything for the race the following day or anything. But now there's even less incentive
yeah.
because it doesn't even affect the
real
position
race,
you're
so-
in.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
if I was
Might as
Red
well
Bull,
just-
I'd go. Don't honestly worry about it. There's like 3 of them a year. Just make sure you bring
get
the car
one
home.
practice
Yeah,
session.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
win the race the next day.
Yeah.
Whereas at least if it matters on where you finish, it's
I-
okay. Well, I can't afford to lose
What-
positions, and I can afford to
Yeah.
gain.
Yeah.
And
them.
especially,
So-
although you get points, what is it? First
half
six or
points, I think.
Yeah,
It's
something like that.
1
First
to 8 in it.
1 to 8
1
get
to
points.
8,
So
so
most
yeah,
people,
it's then you
it's
get
just
8
even less.
points. 8 points for the win, 7 for the second. Anyway, it's you know, the thing is with the sprint race is I've totally forgotten what I was going to say.
and last year,
Sleepy
Yeah,
John
Sleepy John
comes
Last
back
year-
to the
again.
podcast.
last year the sprints were
Yeah,
great,
it's
like,
coming back
and the year before that,
Ah,
like that
yeah, they were
sprint
really
in
good.
Silverstone with Hamilton
That's
and
what it is. Got
Verstappen
it.
was
Yes, it was good.
unbelievable.
This is what I was going to say because I lost it.
He's lost it again.
I lost
Sleepy
it.
John.
You guys
Lost
got
it
to catch
again.
him.
I'm
catch
so
it when he does it.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's coming back. It's coming back. It is that it makes the weekend more exciting. That was what I was going to say.
Will Buxton
Wow.
answer.
What?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
waited
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
All
right,
I'm
okay.
so
that was
sorry.
what I was going to say. That is the only thing about it. Is like, honestly, as a fan, as a spectator of the sport, you are thinking, oh, there's something to watch Friday. Oh, well, let me talk. All right, let me talk.
Do we want to hear it? Though?
Yeah, yeah.
Are
I'm
you
saying-
actually going to tell us something though? or-
Yeah.
You're gonna-
Yeah.
On
Oh,
Friday.
I got
Friday.
places
got an
to
appointment
be.
to go to.
Hey, it's happening now. I'm talking, right?
Talking nonsense.
Friday. All right, okay. Calm it down.
Take it down a few
Friday.
notches.
You got Friday, you got the qualifying, Saturday for the sprint,
Yeah.
and then the Sunday. It does, you
That is
know,
the format.
you know. I'm just saying, it does make you want to watch it, right?
Not really.
Yes.
It does. You
No,
Oh,
no,
funny.
it does. It does make you want to watch
Yeah,
it.
'cause it's
Correct.
extra Formula
I
One,
don't
yeah.
disagree that the sprint is fun. I am up for the sprint. I think it is an enjoyable thing
Yeah,
to watch.
as it was.
For me, what you need to do is to make sure that you don't over-engineer it so that the teams get their way, that they don't want to break a car. Basically, what's happened is the teams are complaining because they don't want their drivers pushing like hell for 17 laps to try and get a position where they break the car, and the engineers have to work either overnight or they've got to get a duff car going into Sunday.
Yeah.
That's really why they've put this new bit in, so that
Yeah.
they can actually take a bit of the stakes out of it, so that it actually doesn't change.
But by
the
doing
weekend.
that, they've
but
reduced
they
the
actually just make it kind of pointless. Basically,
Yeah.
it's like a glorified
Just wear your
victory
car
lap.
out a
It's
little
just
bit
a
more.
victory lap for
Yeah.
17
Yeah.
runs
Yeah.
Of every car.
So the layout of the weekend, you get P1 on Friday, and then qualies for the
for the sprint.
Sunday race.
Yeah, for
Oh,
the,
so the
sun-
Sunday
for the
race,
Sunday,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then you get the sprint
Yeah.
shootout on the Saturday, and then the sprint.
Yeah. So so the sprint
You get
shootout-
an
Mental.
FP2
So,
in that
so
as
you
well,
get two
though.
qualifying sessions where you got to
There's
max
no
out the car.
Wait, hold on. There's no
Oh,
FP2.
A mini rate? No,
No FP2, no.
no FP3.
Oh.
So you
There
also
wasn't any of
also get cars that are set up worse. I just think as a whole, keep it as it was. The way it was before, it
Worked
worked.
great.
It worked. You know, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
exciting addition to the weekend. It was cool. It meant quite a lot. If you were
Yeah.
if you got pole, it was like, right, well, you got pole for the sprint, but you got
And
a
if you
race
didn't
for that
do
pole
well-
twice.
Yeah.
And for the backfield teams, it gave them a chance to
Push up, yeah.
push up a couple of
Yeah.
laps and get
And
a better starting
As an
position.
actual as a spectator watching a race, you're gonna yeah. I'm totally lost now.
Look,
Maybe it
what
was
he's trying to
something-
say, what he's trying to say is that watching a race is good enough as a spectator just for the race. You don't need all the other additions to it.
Yeah.
I'll
And,
caveat- I'll
even the
caveat it.
No, what I'm trying to say is the
Here's an answer
practices,
before
even the
I
free
move on.
practices. If
Oh,
you're
fun.
going to
I enjoy 'em.
Silverstone, if you're going to any motor race or anything like that, just going around watching the cars, and it's
Correct.
still enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's still
90% of the
enjoyable.
audience aren't sat at Silverstone; they're sat
They're
at
watching
home
on
watching
TV.
it. So
Yeah,
you can't
it's-
use it
I
on the
know,
guys
I know,
being there.
I know, but
Live is always
they,
going to be
They
better.
try to play you that. What I'm trying to say is they try to play you that excuse and say like, no, it's more enjoyable for the
The
people
viewers,
attending.
yeah.
However,
Oh, yeah,
would it
but-
not be more enjoyable, because we were at one last year, if there was another race on top of the race to watch as well?
100% would be
Be
yeah.
brilliant.
But the thing for me is free practice is still exciting. It's still actually nice just watching
Yeah,
them drive
I like
around.
the practice.
It's still enjoyable. Free practice is a
Yeah.
fun thing to watch.
See
In
everyone
France,
trying different
when we
things.
went, it was interesting to
Yeah.
watch people
Yeah.
just go
Just
around the
do
track,
their
even
thing,
just
yeah.
in formation. Actually, like
That's pretty
there's
cool.
a Formula
Yeah.
One car in front of me going
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. It's when you're at home, it is definitely more exciting. If someone said to me, "Do you want to watch a race weekend where on the Sunday you see a race, or a race weekend out where you get a Saturday race and a Sunday?" I would obviously choose the latter. That's correct. However, you've got to align the ambitions of the race with the main event. So if you
Yeah.
have it choosing the qualifying position, makes sense.
Yep.
Everyone's incentivized to push. It does exactly what it's designed to. But
You're right.
because the teams have probably complained that the damage is too high and people push too hard, which is what it was designed to do.
But they all took risks, though. When you saw them, they were all. I don't remember a race where they weren't all trying to push
I
for
don't know.
it.
8
Exactly.
points is a lot. Like,
8
Good
points
points,
and
though.
a,
You know, it's
eight
very
points
good
and a
point, Noel.
meaningful position.
Good point, Noel, yeah. But
Mm.
but anyway, so that's what I think with the sprint. But I think dump the sprint shootout, put it the way it was.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it.
I agree. I think the sprint shootout is just so dumb.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered with it.
I mean, if I'm rightly, the sprint originally helped Hamilton with his thing when he had the issue of Mercedes, when he went right at the back because of the pit because the
Oh,
wing was
right.
too big,
Yeah.
and the sprint he made up loads of. Was that right?
No, he
Was
made
that a
it up in
sprint?
the race.
You're right. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because in the qualifying he got
no, it's
penalised,
in
and then he
Brazil,
made.
wasn't it?
Yeah, in Brazil, and then he made like 10 positions.
But
'cause
he did
he had the equivalent of
No, he
Verstappen's
did do a
car.
sprint. He did.
No,
do
he
a
had
sprint.
do
the
sprint.
equivalent of Verstappen's car in speed. I think and in fact, I think you might be right. He made up 10 positions in the sprint, and then after the sprint, he had the race.
Yeah.
What?
Been putting his foot up my trouser. there.
Talking to your mic.
Oh Christ. Oh Christ.
Shall we go on to something else?
Really trying to
Yes,
think.
we should.
Any other ideas? What else we can go on? Shall we just go on to?
I think so. Yeah, it's not a big
Yep.
race. We don't need to do an
No.
hour one.
Oh, what about the Russell Verstappen incident?
Oh, okay, yeah. Who wants to
Just
come in with
quickly
that?
wrap it up.
So a quick
Wrap
one
that
on
Quick
the,
one.
the Russell Verstappen.
Russell
Everyone
was
will
wrong.
give their
Russell was
points. It's a racing incident. It's a first lap thing. They're racing hard. Yes, Russell could have given a bit more room. He obviously locked up, didn't expect to, and was oversteering to
went in
break
too
it
deep.
to make the corner. It's a racing incident in any book. For Verstappen to be so butthurt about it because in his head he doesn't think anyone is deserved enough to race against him.
It was
It's
childish.
ridiculous. And for him to put out the comments he has, considering he is the first one to throw it in on the inside line and push somebody out or hit them, is just
And
hypocritical.
regardless of whose fault it was anyway, it's
a race. It's not an intentional
still
thing.
the way he dealt with it
Reacted, yeah.
post race was
Standard
you know,
procedure.
and George very calm, very collected.
Just a normal person.
Just a
cracking on
normal,
with it.
like, it just drives me up the wall.
One
It
thing,
does me too as well.
One thing I want to say about it is I put it on our Twitter. We put a poll up. You can follow us on the Debrief _F1 on Twitter. Thank
We're
you.
verified now. Yeah. Thanks,
we are
Elon.
verified. Thanks, Elon Musk.
Yeah. Expensive, though, mate.
We yeah.
That's why he's going to space now.
We put a
Paid for
poll
the
up
next.
saying who was at fault, Russell or Verstappen, and it was pretty even. I think it was like 45% Russell was at fault. So it was pretty split down the middle.
Look,
So
I think
everyone's a
the-
bit indecisive.
I think the fault
Well,
lies with Russell.
that
it's his
just
fault.
claims
Yeah.
as a
But
racing
it's
incident.
As
the
a technicality,
reaction.
it was Russell's fault.
Yeah, but as
Yeah.
the reaction to it shouldn't have been, oh, I can't believe he did it. You know what? It's first lap. They're trying to gain positions. He's got an opportunity to do it. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
It's a mistake. He's not T-boned him like he did to Sainz in Texas.
Yeah.
It's a mistake. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
You just can't have that level of reaction to it. If he had written his car, if he had slammed into the side of him with no intention to make the corner at all,
Yeah.
fine.
And he
Yeah,
dealt with it well.
Have that conversation.
I
so
think the way he walked off when
Uh,
Max was like, "You're a dickhead."
Look,
He
it's
walked
just-
Yeah.
off, but-
No, bigger man.
Max,
George,
Max
the
to a
bigger
T,
man.
just permanently being, oh, how dare anyone try and
And
race
it's-
me?
and as well,
I've got
don't-
the fastest car and I'm the fastest car on the
Please
grid.
don't think
race
we're
me.
biased because we're British as well. You are certainly not the biggest George Russell fan. and
No,
you
I don't like.
definitely
I
are.
don't really. I'm not a big George Russell guy.
I like him.
don't like him.
Tommy obviously does.
I like him.
I like George Russell. I'm not against
Oh, he's
him.
a class act.
But
I don't hate him, but I'm
Great
not
driver.
a George Russell fan.
we try our best not to be unbiased, but we do have our separate teams, and
Yeah.
so you'll see the. That's the best thing about this podcast is that you see the
perspective.
The perspective. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all not on the same side, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. That's
Cool.
hang on.
Cool,
Cool.
mate.
Yeah. Sorry, Tommy's
Be
over it.
nice one.
I was
Yeah,
just-
Tommy's over.
I was
It's
having
had enough.
That was me
Yeah.
having a break.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
cool, mate.
Yeah, whatever.
Also, I think the next race is literally next weekend, isn't
It
it?
is.
Next.
And then I think the next 6 weeks are 5 races. So these will be coming up
Flowing
and,
through.
thick
yeah.
and fast.
You'll be drowning
Thick
in
and
these
fast.
He's
podcasts.
drowning in content.
Drowning in content.
Drowning in that content.
So speaking of the next races, thoughts for Miami? What we got?
Miami.
Texas, right?
Well, it'll be
Oh, no,
Red
it's
Bull.
No, it's Miami.
Sorry.
Yeah, it'll be Red Bull again. But
It's another street circuit. So
Yeah, Reds,
Perez
Perez.
all
There's-
over.
potential that Perez, the boy, can get something
didn't do it
done.
last one.
I
did he?
think I've got some faith that Leclerc will do another good set. It seems like a track that I imagine would suit the Ferrari again.
I'm hoping
I think
Aston's a bit.
I think
more
Aston will
competitive,
do better again. I think they won't have the issues they did, which will put them further up the work in. So I think Aston will be up there. Yeah, I think it will be a good race. I hope it will be a good race. Look, in fact, no. What I'll say, it will be a good race for the
Are you in
first
top
half.
3 or top 5? Or top 3?
We can do top 3,
Or
but it'll be a great race for the first half. They'll pit, they'll go on to hards, and it'll be the same as for every other race. It'll be boring, and until they change that regulation, on the record here, early on in the season, you can hear me say it, the most boring season in Formula One history is about to happen,
Exclusive.
and we're watching it. Exclusive content.
Yeah.
You're hearing it here
Yeah,
first.
you're hearing it here
Excited.
first.
Yeah. Welcome for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen. And my top 3 prediction will be Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc.
Again.
Same as today.
Jake?
I think it'll be Verstappen because he has got a proven record of winning there. Perez does not. Perez.
There's only been one race.
No one else has won it other than Verstappen. So can't beat them
I'll
odds.
try to keep it that
Cannot
way.
beat them
Yeah.
odds.
100% record.
100% record
Yeah,
out of
can't
anyone
go.
ever.
Then Perez. Then I'm gonna say I hope it's Alonso.
Yeah.
I think hopefully if they can sort
Well,
over there.
I'm gonna say-
Mm.
Perez, Verstappen, Alonso. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Ooh,
say,
2 of you.
Yeah.
Sycophant.
I'm gonna say
Sorry.
Perez,
Disgraceful.
Hamilton, Alonso. I think
Wow.
something's gonna
What
happen
is
to
wrong
Max.
with you?
Hamilton's second.
Hamilton.
Yeah,
Something's crazy got to happen.
Yeah,
I think
something's
for
gonna
that to
happen.
On drugs. On drugs.
happen.
On
I'm
drugs.
not. I'm certainly not on drugs.
Same.
Okay, sorry. How is Perez, Verstappen,
Verstappen,
Alonso?
Perez.
bit too defensive on that one, do you know what I mean? I am not on drugs.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen.
It's
I am
a
not on
clean
drugs.
podcast. It's clean. All right.
This is a clean podcast.
Chewing your face off when you're doing this podcast.
But yeah,
Gurning in
I
the
do think
corner.
something's gonna happen. I hope something happens to Max where he doesn't get to finish the race.
Sounds like he's
wrong
gonna
with all
die.
you?
A
Christ.
lot of hate
What's
for
wrong
Max.
I hope he
with
doesn't get
all
to
of
finish
you?
race, and I hope he doesn't get to finish
A lot of
anything
hate.
ever again.
No, I'll be honest. As the anti-Max fan club is growing.
Anti-Max.
You were crying with me when he
Anti-Max.
won his first championship.
I was a fan with him then.
All right.
However,
Crying.
The old switcheroo.
however, he has significantly become more arrogant.
He's
and
not changed. He is
much
not
more
changed.
a
Alright,
dick.
let's
I
wrap
don't
it
think
up.
he
changed.
would.
Let's
He's
wrap
more
it up.
relaxed on
Leave
the
it.
track.
Leave it.
He's less
Leave
aggressive.
it. Let's wrap
The
it up.
guy's just-
Oh
just-
god, here we go.
Max.
I don't think he's changed. I think he's always
Max.
been a dickhead.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Oh, Max, please, you can't do any wrong. You should see this. You should see this boy every time
All right,
he
let's
comes on
wrap it up.
screen.
It's gonna get out of hand.
Yeah,
Any second,
anyway.
his fist's gonna be
Oh,
thrown.
yeah, it's going to get
All right.
violent.
It's gonna get crazy.
What a weird podcast for you all to listen to this time
I
around.
hope
Yeah, it
Max
was
knows
good.
the flack I'm taking. But I bet every Max fan knows the flack they're taking. Being a Max fan.
You should just give up.
And I'm defending all of
And
us.
he doesn't
all
care
right?
about you. He
I'm
doesn't care about
defending
you.
all of us.
If he saw it, he'd go, why does he bother him? And you'd be like, please, I
really like
Please,
you.
Max,
Yeah.
please. Right, okay. Tommy,
wrap
Do
us
the
up,
honours.
boy.
do the
Wrap
honours.
us up.
Let's
Send
bring
us
it home,
home.
baby.
Bring it on home.
Hammer time. Oh, okay.
Uh,
No.
Ah, there we go.
Look at that
Okay.
time.
Anyway,
time.
that's the end of the podcast.
Leclerc time.
No, go on, keep talking.
Come on,
We're just
get
chatting
it
shit.
done.
Get her done.
Get her done, boy.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching. That's the end of the podcast. If you did like it, you can subscribe. You can leave a like. You can share it. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And I think that's it at a minute.
I think so.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify as well.
Oh, it's Spotify, yeah. If you don't want to watch
Give us a
us,
follow. We're
You
needing
don't wanna
to,
watch
we need
us,
to break a
listen
certain
to
amount.
us.
You know?
Yeah.
If
So
you don't-
follow it, even if you don't like
At
us.
least a
to be honest.
fan would be good.
Yeah.
So
It's free to follow.
if you don't-
so you
cost you
should.
nothing.
if you don't want to see us, listen to us. Put us on in the car when you're at work, headphones. Or
When
just
you-
watch us on YouTube.
But above all
Yeah.
else, just follow or subscribe. Just do something.
Or do what
Yeah.
the drivers do is they normally put them in their earpieces when they're driving and racing. They
There
just
we go.
listen to
Yeah.
us normally.
Well,
so-
exactly.
Yeah.
That's how they go
exactly.
so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
And-
dictate the next race.
And we
Well,
will
for Max,
see
he doesn't
you
like it.
in a week
Kick.
after Miami. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.
Pleasure.
Laters.
See ya.
Cool.